Hi there. On weekends, we do reruns so that yours truly can take a couple days off. Look for a fresh new episode on Monday. Meanwhile, please enjoy this episode from this day from a previous year. Thank you so much for your indulgence and loyalty, and have a great weekend. Enjoy! Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for November 25th. November 25th is the 329th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, with 36 days remaining until the end of the year. And today we're going to start in the year 1783 with some American Revolutionary War news. And that is that the last British troops left New York City 3 months after the signing of the Treaty of Paris. In 1844, German engineer and businessman, founder of Mercedes-Benz, Carl Benz was born in Germany, of course. He died in 1929 at the age of 84. In 1846, American temperance activist Carrie Nation was born in Kentucky on this date. She's remembered for attacking alcohol-serving establishments, most often taverns, with a hatchet. She died in 1911 at the age of 84. In 1864, a group of Confederate operatives calling themselves the Confederate Army of Manhattan started fires in more than 20 locations in an unsuccessful attempt to burn down New York City. In 1876, in retaliation for the American defeat at the Battle of Little Bighorn, United States Army troops sacked the sleeping village of Cheyenne Chief Dullknife at the headwaters of the Powder River. In 1914, American baseball player and coach Joe DiMaggio was born on this date. He died in 1999 at the age of 84. In 1944, Judge Kennesaw Mountain Landis died on this day. He was 78. You'll remember we spoke of him just the other day on his birthday, November 20th. Well, this is the day that he died in 1944. In 1952, a play called The Mousetrap, a murder mystery written by the novelist and playwright Agatha Christie, opened at the Ambassador Theatre in London. The crowd-pleasing whodunit would go on to be the longest continually running play in history, with more than 10 million people to date attending its more than 20,000 performances in London's West End. On November 25, 1960, the Mirabal sisters were murdered in the Dominican Republic because of their opposition to the dictatorship of Rafael Trujillo, who had directly ordered this to be done. His henchmen tried to make it look like an accident, but perhaps they were not as clever as they were brutal. As a result, the United Nations General Assembly has designated November 25th as the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. The premise of this day is to raise awareness of the fact that women around the world are subject to many and unspeakable forms of violence. It's incomprehensible to me that humans treat other humans in that way, but I know it happens. In 1963, President John Kennedy was buried at Arlington National Cemetery in Arlington County, Virginia, across the Potomac River from Washington, D.C. And also on this day in 1963, Lee Harvey Oswald was buried in Fort Worth, Texas. I know where that cemetery is, too. In 1970, Japanese author Yukio Mishima died by suicide after failing to win public support for his often extreme political beliefs. In 1986, the Iran-Contra connection was revealed. 3 weeks after a Lebanese magazine reported that the United States had been secretly selling arms to Iran, Attorney General Edwin Meese revealed the proceeds from the arms sales were illegally diverted to the anti-communist Contras in Nicaragua. In 1990, the Lacey V. Murrow Memorial Bridge sank to the bottom of Lake Washington. After a howling wind and rainstorm on Thanksgiving Day, Washington State's historic floating Lacey V. Murrow Memorial Bridge broke apart and sunk to the bottom of Lake Washington between Seattle and its suburbs to the east. Because the bridge's disintegration happened relatively slowly, news crews were able to capture the whole thing on camera, broadcasting it to a rapt audience across western Washington. It looked like a big old battleship that had been hit by enemy fire and was sinking into the briny deep, said one observer. In 1999, a 5-year-old Cuban boy, Elian Gonzalez, was rescued by fishermen while floating in an inner tube off the Florida coast. And I think that's going to do it for us today. As always, links to my research are included in the show notes. Thank you so much for watching. Give it a like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and feel free to share if you found this video interesting or informative. And while you're on YouTube, go ahead and check out my other channel, 8 Susquehanna. There's a link in the show notes for that as well. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. One more time. Annie hears me talking. She's got to come see what's going on. Okay, lay down. That's a good girl. Good girl. Let's do that one again. Blah, blah, blah. Coffee mug. It's late enough in the day that we're off coffee and on fizzy water. Just read the words. Just read the words. That's a lot of words. Hope I pronounced that right. There goes my crazy neighbor's car horn again. I'd like to think that one day she'll learn how to use that thing, but she's in her 40s, so that's not likely. We'll just talk over it. Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? She's not a man. Sure would be nice if I could ever read one of these in its entirety without having to start anything over. That would be awesome. I might have to take another look at that. I'm going to have to look at that. This is why I don't do live shows.